On August 2nd, 2020, officers Zach Refi and Kyle Dick from the Myrtle Beach Police Department detained professional aerialist Samantha Panda and her sister-in-law Kendall Lee during a visit to Myrtle Beach. The incident followed a complaint by an unidentified woman about their swimsuits. Panda's boyfriend, who was at the beach with her and Lee, began recording the encounter after Panda was placed in handcuffs.
So, why is it illegal to have a bikini on the beach?
I literally wear this to the beach every day.
You want us to show you? We're going to show.
Okay, absolutely. Did someone complain?
Yeah.
We don't just show up and tell everybody. We just don't show up and throw people in handcuffs.
I understand.
That's right too. Nudity displayed specific nominal parts in specific sexual areas prohibited. Shall be unlawful for any person to appear in the nude on any public beach access in the public waters or any public property in the view of the public.
I'm not
So
nude.
nobody's nude. There's nobody nude right now.
I'm not nude.
Displaying specific body parts while being nude on public beaches, beach access areas, public waters, or any public property visible to others is considered illegal to uphold standards of public decency. The officers cited Section 530 of the Myrtle Beach City Ordinance, which prohibits public nudity. We'll delve into the specifics of this ordinance later in the video. In the United States, public nudity laws are common, with most states addressing this issue under indecency or improper exposure statutes. On a local level, such as in Myrtle Beach, these rules are often more strictly enforced. However, local ordinances frequently face constitutional challenges when brought to court. For instance, in the 2000 Erie versus Papps AM case, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld an ordinance in Erie, Pennsylvania, banning intentional public nudity. A nude dance club, Candyland, argued that requiring dancers to wear specific clothing violated First Amendment protections of free expression. The court ruled that while nudity itself is not inherently expressive, nude dancing could be a form of expression under the First Amendment. Nonetheless, the ordinance was upheld as a content-neutral regulation aimed at mitigating secondary effects associated with nude dance clubs. Some public nudity ordinances, which prohibit women from exposing their chests but not men, have faced equal protection challenges under the Constitution. Most courts, however, have upheld these regulations. A notable exception occurred in the 2019 Free the Nipple Fort Collins versus City of Fort Collins case, where the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals struck down a city ordinance as discriminatory. The court noted that the rule was based on a societal view that women's chests are inherently sexualized, while men's are not, perpetuating a cultural stereotype. It concluded that the ordinance likely violated the Equal Protection Clause. The U.S. Supreme Court has not yet ruled definitively on this matter. However, on January 13, 2020, the court declined to review the 2019 State versus Lil case, in which the New Hampshire Supreme Court upheld a public nudity ban targeting women. As noted, we'll examine Myrtle Beach's specific regulations later. However, it's clear that public nudity remains a contentious issue, sparking debates in courtrooms across the United States.
As long as it's not in a sexually explicit manner, and there's nothing sexually explicit about this.
I just read it.
Okay, nude, and the nude. This is not considered nudity. There is clothing covering their private parts. Just because she has a bikini that is more revealing does not mean that she's in the wrong.
Nothing in there says any quote unquote private parts are not uncolored. None of our private parts are uncolored. You literally detained me for being in a thong.
Yes, because of the way you're acting. So, what's going on?
Can he get off of me, please?
Well, he's holding so that way you don't fall.
I'm not going to fall.
It's just tell me what's going on.
They've come and told us that we're nude and that we can't be nude on the beach. I'm not nude. I asked him to show me where it says I can't wear a thong. He said no. He told me that he wouldn't show me, and I said, okay, then we're done here. And then he put me in cuffs immediately. And then after that, they brought me over here, showed me their book, which doesn't say anything about being in a thong. It just says you can't be nude.
Jimmy Jam?
Jimmy Jam, yeah. So, I am not nude. Everything that is a quote-unquote private part is covered. You can't tell me I can't wear a thong.
with the exposure of anatomical parts, like what she has on nothing she's not doing, that you can't be out.
But you can't tell us that. Anatomical parts could be my
I'm
belly
not,
button.
listen,
You can't
listen,
just make
listen,
things up at
I'm
your
not,
discretion.
Listen, I'm not making, I'm telling you what the city ordinance is. I'm not just saying, hey, anatomical parts, say that's what the city ordinance is.
She asked you to show you. She asked you to show you, and then you guys said no right off the bat. So she did say walk away after that.
Ms. Panda admitted that she tried to leave when the officers approached her about her swimwear. According to the officers, this was the reason they decided to handcuff her. While it's difficult to reach a definite conclusion without footage, the officers might have been attempting to lawfully detain her to investigate a possible violation of Myrtle Beach's public nudity ordinance. Although the use of handcuffs can be justified if a suspect is considered a flight risk or poses a threat, using them unnecessarily may lead to allegations of abuse of power or excessive force by the police. In Graham v. Connor, 1989, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that claims of excessive force during an arrest or stop must be analyzed under the Fourth Amendment, which protects individuals from unreasonable searches and seizures. The court emphasized that the amount of force used must be considered reasonable in the context of the situation, based on what the officers knew and the circumstances they were facing at the time. Law enforcement officers often must make split-second decisions in high-pressure, rapidly evolving situations, and this is taken into account when evaluating the reasonableness of their actions. If Ms. Panda decides to file a lawsuit claiming excessive force for being handcuffed, the court would likely apply the Graham standard to assess whether the officer's actions were objectively reasonable based on the facts and the specific circumstances they encountered. If it's found that she attempted to leave after being detained, the court would likely find the use of handcuffs to be reasonable and necessary in that context.
You want to come around and throw your weight around like I have to do everything you say. That's not the case. So if you don't want to show me something, and you don't want to tell me what you're going to detain me for.
I did tell you.
No, you didn't.
I did.
So you can just make up whatever you want.
It's not made up.
It is made up because it's saying nudity.
It says
There's no nudity.
You keep chiming in, you're going to jail.
For what?
For talking?
Hindering.
Hindering.
What?
Officer Dick threatened to arrest Ms. Panda's boyfriend for obstruction, referencing Section 14-63 of the Myrtle Beach City Ordinance. This ordinance states that anyone who interferes with an officer performing a lawful duty can be charged. However, since the ordinance requires physical interference, it would be hard for a court to conclude that Ms. Panda's boyfriend violated this rule just by speaking to the officer.
Walk away.
We have our social distance. We have our social distance.
I'm dealing with them. I'm investigating them right now, not you.
Okay, and I'm with them. Hey,
So many times.
just invoke the fifth right now. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no need to talk and to speak with them. They're being irrational, unreasonable, and that's just how it is.
Officer Hinton showed Ms. Panda and Ms. Lee the public nudity ordinances they were accused of violating on his phone. Section 5-30 of the Myrtle Beach City Ordinance states that it is illegal to appear in public places, such as a beach or beach access, in a manner that exposes certain body parts. Section 5-1 clarifies that certain body parts includes buttocks and nipples. Officer Hinton claimed Ms. Panda's swimsuit exposed her buttocks, and Ms. Lee's shirt was too sheer, revealing her breasts. Although the Myrtle Beach City website states that thong swimsuits are not allowed on the beach or public areas, neither the ordinance nor the website specifies what exactly qualifies as a thong swimsuit or defines acceptable exposure levels for body parts. Ms. Panda and Ms. Lee tried to ask officers for clarification on appropriate beach attire, but they received no clear explanation. Given the language of the ordinances, a judge might agree with the officers that Ms. Panda's swimsuit and Ms. Lee's shirt violated public nudity laws by exposing their buttocks and breasts in public, particularly under the breast area.
This isn't nudity.
So
I'm not saying it's the
that you're out here in a thong. That's why we have to have a thong ordinance. We have to cover up. 2, if you're out here in a bathing suit and a cover up, you have a thong under it. That's fine.
So what's considered a thong? Because that's a Brazilian cut bikini.
We're not getting a Brazilian
Well, it does matter because if I'm gonna go buy a bikini, I would like to know if I can wear it.
But our ordinance just says buttocks. That's all it says.
Okay, so then that's a buttocks over there. So
Okay, so can we leave now? Okay,
no,
great.
okay.
Thank you. Goodbye.
After discussing the public nudity ordinances, the officers allowed Ms. Panda and Ms. Lee to leave without further incident. Despite the tense encounter, no further actions were taken against them. Ms. Panda took to her social media platforms to share the conversation, writing, "I will not allow women to feel like they have to dress a certain way to make others more comfortable. This is blatant abuse of force, excessive power, and it needs to be addressed." She emphasized that the situation was an example of police overreach and abuse. In an interview with WPDE Myrtle Beach, she reiterated her commitment to take action. While she expressed her desire for the ordinance to be completely repealed, she also suggested that if it were to remain, it should be more clearly defined so that both the public and police could easily understand and enforce it. She mentioned she was in the early stages of forming a legal team. However, at the time of the interview, it was unclear whether she planned to file a formal complaint or pursue any kind of legal action. As of now, no lawsuit has been filed regarding the incident. However, a few weeks later, Nermeen Ibrahim and her teenage daughter filed a lawsuit against the Myrtle Beach Police for excessive force. The lawsuit related to a separate incident involving officers Refi and Dick, who allegedly used unnecessary force when stopping Ibrahim and her daughter. According to the lawsuit, the officers handcuffed the women and pointed guns at them during a traffic stop after their rental car, previously reported stolen, was flagged. In general, officers Dick and Refi failed to act professionally. Although they had the authority to detain Ms. Panda and Ms. Lee, they did not attempt to de-escalate the situation. Instead, they maintained a rude and condescending attitude, threatening to arrest Ms. Panda's boyfriend without valid justification for his actions. Despite the public nudity ordinance matching the swimsuits worn by Ms. Panda and Ms. Lee, the officers had reasonable grounds to investigate, based on a description provided in a 911 call that matched their appearance. Additionally, the officers contacted a superior officer, which ultimately contributed to the peaceful resolution of the situation. However, the officers failed to de-escalate the confrontation and made unwarranted threats, such as threatening to arrest Ms. Panda's boyfriend without cause. While their actions were within the scope of their authority, their lack of professionalism undermined the legitimacy of their investigation. Ms. Panda and Ms. Lee remained calm throughout the encounter, aware that they were being filmed, and protested the officers' behavior without escalating the situation. While they may have technically violated Section 530, they did not deny the existence of the ordinance, but instead opposed its wording and constitutionality. Ms. Panda argued that her swimsuit did not fit the ordinance's description and that the law should not give police officers the power to decide what is deemed appropriate swimwear. While Section 5-30 may raise questions about constitutionality, it likely reflects the values of the local community. If the residents of Myrtle Beach believed the ordinance was unjust, it could have been challenged earlier. Ultimately, laws are shaped by community standards and can evolve over time. While many people outside of Myrtle Beach may disagree with the ordinance, the community itself is likely to have a strong influence on the laws that govern them. The incident involving Samantha Panda and Kendall Lee brings to light important issues regarding local laws and police conduct. While they were not arrested, the encounter left a lasting negative impression. It is critical to understand your rights and stay composed in situations like this. Please share your thoughts in the comments, like and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analyses. See you in the next video.